Thank you. So my name is Ousman Noor. By background, I practiced as a human rights barrister in London and more recently as the government relations manager for the Stop Killer Robots campaign. I'd like to make a statement concerning the catastrophic use of artificial intelligence by Israel in Gaza, to speak about the state of the United Nations discussions on this crucial issue, and also perhaps what civil society can do to ensure that a new legally binding instrument is in place in order to hold Israel to account for the use, you may have seen recent articles, of the military artificial intelligence selection systems that Israel is using to annihilate the people of Gaza. One is called the Gospel and another is called the Lavender, both of which take data from people in Gaza, converting humans into data to make selection processes to exercise force, essentially annihilating entire population by the press of a button. That is the weapon system that is being deployed, and there have been discussions on this issue for the last 10 years at the United Nations. I've been part of those discussions for the last 3 years as a representative of civil society. We have a situation where the United Nations Secretary General has described these weapon systems as morally unacceptable and politically repugnant. The International Committee of the Red Cross has said that we urgently need to agree to new international law. Over 100 states, almost entirely from the global south, have been raising this issue, and yet we have a scenario where militarized states, Israel being the leader of that, developing these weapon systems without any restraint, without any prohibitions for the last 10 years. We have been warning of this scenario, and we are now seeing killer robots have arrived. They are being used and tested in Palestine, and these will have catastrophic consequences for the whole of humanity. To give you a snapshot of where we are with these discussions, we've been talking about it in the context of the Convention on Conventional Weapons, where all of the militarized states are on board, and they have been essentially exercising a veto power to prevent any meaningful progress towards establishing new international law. Israel repeatedly turns up to those meetings and says we do not agree to a new international legally binding instrument. Why? Because it would curtail their ability to create these weapons, which they are not only developing but now selling all over the world to the highest bidder. These are weapon systems you may have heard about, quadcopters being used all around the Gaza Strip with assault rifles. We are seeing data being collected from all across, including face shape, location data, height, matching that with other aspects of biodata, and then converting that into a system that gives a yes or no option to a commander that is sitting remotely from where the force is going to be used to destroy entire buildings, no matter how many civilians are inside, on the pretext that that machine has advised that someone in there may or may not be Hamas. This is utterly devastating, and this is a system that is now being deployed all over the world. Experts in artificial intelligence have been warning that this is going to be the new generation of warfare. We're going to have not only states but non-state actors and potentially criminals using this type of weapon system. And the state that has actually championed new international law on this for several years has been Palestine. Palestine has been coming to all of those meetings with detailed, elaborated papers setting out the concerns, setting out the solution, and has been able to galvanize a great deal of the global south towards establishing new international law. Civil society needs to be involved. Right now, there are two ways of doing that. One is in October 2023, there was a resolution passed at the UNGA calling upon states and stakeholders to submit proposals for a new international framework on this issue. It is going to then be compiled by the Secretary General, and it is going to be released at the Summit of Future, I understand, which shortly before the UNGA. So I advise everyone to take an interest in this issue, talk to me about it, submit something. Secondly, the Human Rights Council has taken on board this issue, and the Advisory Committee is tasked with writing a report about this. Get your concerns in, especially as these are being used to commit genocide in Gaza. Thank you.